'Tis the season of sweets, starring my magical mamoul and more.
Cooking with Julie Taboulie is made possible by our members and by viewers like you. Thank you.
Tis the season of sweets, and what better way to celebrate the season than with an adored array of signature sweets from the Middle East. My first sweet of the season is my magical mamoul, a blissful butter cookie filled with a wondrous walnut blend and a delicious date blend, then dusted with powdered and granulated sugar crystals, making my mamoul simply magical. And my second sweet of the season is my rizbe halib, an Arabic-style rice pudding finished off with a pistachio nut powder that is decadent as can be. The holiday season never sounded so sweet. It is the season of sweets, and it's starring today my magical mamoul, my miraculous little Middle Eastern butter cookies that are especially shaped and created using our special little mamoul makers, our little molds, as you can see right over here. And what mamoul is, it's a butter cookie that's filled with either a wondrous walnut blend or delicious date blend, or you could actually blend the two fillings together. But today we're going to be doing both the walnut and the date for our mamoul little cookies. And we're also going to be making one of my favorites, my rizbe halib, which is our rice pudding, our Arabic rice pudding, I should say. And I'm going to put my own little spin to it too. And the first thing that we're going to get started on today for our sweet making is our rizbe halib, because everybody in Lebanon and the Middle East knows that rizbe halib kilma baret batib. The colder the rice pudding is, the tastier it is. So we're going to get our rice pudding underway first, and then we're going to get to making our mamoul. So I'm going to start off right over here with 1 whole gallon of milk. And I'm using whole milk today, but you could certainly use 2%, or you could even use skim, whichever you like. And I'm going to get our heat onto high. And to this, we're going to be adding 2 cups of rice. And I'm using the arborio rice, just like so. And my own little twist on our rizbe halib. Traditionally, our rizbe halib, our rice pudding, is made with just white rice or long grain rice and our rose water. But I like to make mine with a vanilla bean. I love the flavor of that fresh vanilla bean. So you can see that I have a nice whole vanilla bean just like so. And I'm just going to use half of it. And what we're going to do is I'm just going to slice it right down the center. And then I'm going to run my knife along the bean itself to open it up, and then we're going to get all of those little vanilla seeds right out. We're going to scrape them up with our paring knife. Okay, so now we're going to get all of that great rich vanilla right into that milk, and I'm just going to add the whole bean in as well. That's going to give a lot of great flavor, and we're just going to give this a stir. So I have our heat on high, and we're going to let this come to a boil. And then once it starts to boil, we're going to lower our heat, and we're just going to let this simmer away. And periodically, we're going to make sure that we're continuing to stir it, so that way the milk and the rice do not stick to the bottom. That's sort of like the key tip and trick when you're making your rizbe halib, your rice pudding. You always want to make sure that you're stirring it along too. It's going to be super, super delicious. And I love this rice pudding, especially around the holiday time, and any time actually. Okay, so I'm just giving this a good stir, and in the meantime, we're going to get started on making the fillings for our mamoul, our miraculous, magical Middle Eastern butter cookies. So we're going to start off with our walnut filling first, and I have some beautiful whole, raw, unsalted walnuts, and we're gonna take about 1 cup of these, and we're gonna make this filling, of course, in our food processor. It's definitely your friend in the kitchen, especially in Arabic, Middle Eastern, and Lebanese cooking, just like so. And to this, we're gonna be adding some white granulated sugar, about 1/3 cup, and I have some clarified butter. So we're gonna add in a couple tablespoons, just like so. 1 more should do it. And we're also gonna be adding in some of our orange blossom water. The butter and the orange blossom water are really gonna give this a super, super delicious taste, just like so. Okay, and now we're just gonna give this a whirl. And we're gonna grind it up and so that it's kind of like pebble-like. Beautiful. You can see how luscious, look at that, this filling is. It's coated really nicely with that clarified butter and with that orange blossom water too. Because you want to make sure that every part of the cookie has good flavor to it. So that does it for our walnut filling, and now we're going to get started on our delicious, delicious date filling, my favorite. So now we are about to start making our delicious date filling. And it's actually my favorite filling for the mamul cookies. I mean, both are equally delicious, but I like the dates just a little bit more. So, you know, to each his own, you can make both and then see which one you like better. All right, so I have my pitted and pressed dates here, and I'm just slicing them up in segments. And you could also use the whole dates, just make sure that they're pitted, and you can just kind of break those down in your food processor too. No worries. All right, so now I'm just gonna get the segments right into our food processor, just like so. And this is super simple. That's why I love making these cookies too, around any of the holidays, because you have both of these different fillings and they come really quickly to make. And the cookies themselves don't take long to bake, which is really nice because there's so much to do around all of the holidays. So it's nice when you have recipes and dishes that come together pretty quickly for you. Okay, so to this, we're gonna be adding a couple tablespoons of our clarified butter. I love it too because when we're Middle Eastern sweet making, we always have our different components that we create for the sweets, like our clarified butter and our syrup and our fillings. But it's nice because once you create them, you can use them for a variety of sweets like we're doing today. And we're also going to be adding a little bit of finely ground mahlab, it's called, powder. And what mahlab is, it's spelled M-A-H-L-A-B, and it's this really nice aromatic spice. It comes from cherry kernels, and this is what they look like whole, as you can see. So there's just these little cherry kernels. Then actually you can just grind up the kernels, the seeds themselves, like I did today, or you could buy them already ground up for you. So whichever you like. And we're going to be adding just a little touch of this. It's going to give this kind of subtle cherry kind of essence in the background. It's going to be really super tasty with the dates. Okay, so that does it for that. So we just have our dates, we have our clarified butter, and a little bit of mahlab. So we didn't put any of the orange blossom water or rose water because the orange blossom water went in our walnut mixture, which makes it distinct, and then our mahlab goes in our date filling, which makes that very distinct as well. Okay, we're just going to check on it and see how it's doing. It's doing beautifully. I'm just going to actually press it down a little bit. And it's coming along really nice. That clarified butter really helps to break down the pitted pressed dates, or if you're using the whole pitted dates, either or. If you're using the whole pitted dates, then you would also slice those up before you put them into your food processor too. Okay, I'm just going to give it another whirl because I want those pebbles to be a little bit smaller because it's going to go in a little kind of butter cookie base. Okay, I think it's just right. And it is, as you can see, it ground up really nicely for us. You can see that it's kind of these small little pebble-likes, and it's definitely like a nice paste because that's going to fit right into our little butter cookie base. All right, so now I'm just going to transfer this into our bowl. We're going to kind of create an assembly line. It's gonna make it super simple for us to start making all of our mamul cookies. And now what we're gonna do, I can see that our rizbi halib, our rice pudding, is simmering away, and it's halfway through, which means we're gonna add in our sugar. And you know, with the sugar, you can make it as sweet or as non-sweet, I guess, as you like. You know, I found this to be a nice kind of balance. It's not super, super sweet, and it's not super, super bland either. It's kind of right in the between. And we're just gonna keep on letting this simmer away. And what's gonna start happening is that our boreal rice is gonna start to thicken up and get really nice and creamy, and the consistency is just gonna be absolutely like velvet. It's gonna be so, so good. And it's gonna taste like velvet when you try it. And in the meantime, we're gonna get started on making our mamul dough, and we're gonna start filling our mamul dough and making our little miraculous mamul cookies with both our walnut and our date filling. So now we are starting on our mamul dough, and it all starts with our semolina, our fine and our coarse semolina, not to be confused with semolina flour. This is the grain itself. And we have 1 cup of our fine, and I'm going to mix in 1 cup of our coarse. You can find this at many Middle Eastern or Mediterranean specialty food stores, and also at major grocery stores too. And to this, we're going to be adding 1/3 cup of our granulated white sugar, just like so. And we're going to be using our mahlab spice again, which is from the cherry kernels that I have finely grounded up, just 1 teaspoon. It's going to give that really nice aromatic kind of cherry essence in the background, just like so. Just going to kind of stir that in with my fingers. And to this, we're going to be adding 3/4 cup of our clarified butter right in the center. And now we're just going to give this a stir. And then we're going to be adding in, we have yeast. I started off with 1 teaspoon of yeast and about 1/4 cup of lukewarm water. Okay, so that looks great. And now I'm just going to create a little bit of a well in the center there of our semolina and clarified butter. I'm going to pour in our yeast mixture right in the center, just like so. And to this, I'm going to be adding some essences, some nice flavorings of our orange blossom water. We're going to add in 1 tablespoon. Just going to eyeball it. That looks good. And now we're going to add in some rose water. So I'm just kind of mixing this around, getting the yeast mixture incorporated really well with the semolina and the sugar and the clarified butter. It smells so much like the holiday time right now. This cookie actually is traditionally made and enjoyed around the Easter holiday, but we make it then, and we make it all year round, and we make it for all of our other holidays that we celebrate throughout the year. Okay, beautiful. So this has come together really lovely. You can see that it has a beautiful kind of golden, nice color to it and sheen. So what you're going to want to do when you're making your mamul dough, it's ideal to let it sit for a couple hours. That way it can set and kind of all of the ingredients can come together, and that's going to give you the ideal kind of consistency that you're looking for before you start making your mamul cookies. And I have one that I did earlier, so I'm just going to grab that and show you what it looks like once it's set. I just covered it with plastic wrap, obviously. You can see now that it's really kind of come together. I just want to show you before we start making our mamul cookies. And see, I can kind of adhere it together just like that with my fingers. So that is definitely what you're looking for. Now before we start making our mamul cookies, I can see that our rice pudding, our rizbi halib, is just about ready, and we're going to take a look at it, and we're going to start to fill it up in our little holiday cups and get it in the refrigerator so it can get nice and cold and super delicious for us. Our rizbi halib, our rice pudding, is slowly simmering away, and now it has perfectly thickened up to the creamy consistency that I just love so, so much. I love my rizbi halib. All right, so now I'm just going to turn the heat off. I want to give it a quick taste to make sure everything is just absolutely right. So creamy. I love that rich flavor from the whole milk and from that arborio rice, and I just love the real vanilla bean too. It's gonna taste super, super amazing with our pistachio powder on top. So now I just have these little holiday glasses, so cute. I'm just gonna ladle them right into each one, and then we're gonna cover them up with some plastic wrap, of course, and we're gonna get them into the refrigerator just as soon as possible. Okay, so now I'm just gonna get these in the fridge because you know what they say in Lebanon in the Middle East, Rizbe halib kema bedet betib. The colder the rice pudding is, the tastier it'll be. Okay, so now I'm gonna show you how we make our mamul cookies. Our little magical Middle Eastern cookies. All right, so I'm just gonna take about a tablespoon or so of our dough, of our mix, and I'm just gonna kind of start to press it between both of my hands, just like so. Kind of like a walnut size. A whole walnut, of course, in its shell. See, it's about that big, resembling a whole walnut in its shell. And then I'm gonna roll it between my hands. All right, and now we're gonna take our finger and just insert it into one side of the dough. So we have a little indentation just like that. And then we're gonna work it around while we're kind of lightly squeezing it, lightly though, with our fingers in the other hand. Just to create a hole so that we can fill it with our walnut and with our date mixture. And this dough is very forgiving in that if it starts to kind of break a little bit around the edges, see that one just did a little bit, no problem. You can kind of just seam it up with your fingers. Okay, so that's good. You want to just create a big enough hole so that you can get some of that filling into it. So I think first I'm going to go for the walnut filling. And you just kind of want to eyeball it. You don't want to overfill them or underfill them. You want to make sure that you have just enough. Okay, so that looks about right. So you can see, just like so. And then what you do is you just kind of take the rest of the dough and just kind of wrap it around that filling just to enclose it all. And then you just start to kind of seam it up with your fingers. Again, it's a really nice, moist dough, and it's really going to be easy for you to work with. So it's completely enclosed, just like that. Okay, so now here comes our mamul making part of the process. I'm going to go, as you can see, I have a couple different mamul makers on my board here. I have some larger ones and I have some smaller ones. So I think I'm going to go for a larger one first, and I just absolutely love this pattern. They all have different patterns, kind of different designs, as you can see. Let me just show you a couple. So you've got that design right there. And they're obviously made of wood, and you can find these at Middle Eastern specialty food stores. They're really easy to find, and you can also find them online too. So there's all different types of shapes and designs, and then obviously sizes too that you can choose from. I kind of think when they're all baked up, they look like little snowflakes in the sky. So now we're just going to take our dough that's filled with our walnut mixture, and we're just going to place it right in the center of the mold, just like that. And then we're just going to start to lightly press it down, just lightly. You don't want to do it too hard. You just want to make sure that you're kind of pressing it all the way through, and that it's reaching the corners of that design so it's filling up the mold, just like that. See that? Okay, now we're going to release this from the mold, and it's really simple and quite fun too. So what I like to do it actually on the edge of my board, so that way you can use your other hand to kind of catch the mamul cookie when it comes off of the mold. And what we're going to do is we're basically going to go one shot, and we're going to hit the mold on our board using this part. See that kind of area that we have that's just above the mold? So we're going to kind of give it a good whack right on the board, and then it's going to fall right into your hand. So, you know, here we go. Ready? Just like that. How fun was that? See that beautiful design? It's absolutely gorgeous, isn't it? And it's so fun too. All right, so we're just gonna place this on our board just like so. Now, if you're a little kind of worried or a little hesitant that you're not going to catch that Mom Wool cookie with your other hand that's just below the board, then you can certainly just do it right on your board, and you can kind of just slide it up with a spatula or something. No problem there. We don't want to lose our cookies. Okay, so now I'm just going to continue. I'm going to do a date one for you. I'm just rolling it again between my fingers. Let's see, I think I'll go for different molds. I kind of like to make the walnut ones with one of the designs, so that way I know which one's which. And then I like to use another mold for the other dates. Okay, so now I'm just going to get a little bit of our date filling, just like so. Okay, and just press it down into the Mom Wool dough. And then again, just start to take up the remaining part of the dough with your fingers. Okay, so seam side up. It's going right into my Mom Wool mold. And then I'm just gonna, again, press it down, lightly pressing it to fill our mold, just like so. And now we're gonna give it one nice, good shot using the top of our Mom Wool mold, just above the design itself, right on our board. Here we go, ready? I'm gonna catch it with my other hand. Woo! Just like so. And you can see that beautiful design. It's kind of like ringlets. So we're gonna get this placed right on our pan as well. And these are gonna be baking in a 350-degree oven for about 10 to 12, 15 minutes tops. You really want them lightly golden brown. And then the walnut Mom Wool cookies are gonna be dusted with powdered sugar. And then the date Mom Wool cookies are gonna be sprinkled with our granulated sugar. So they're each gonna have their own distinct sugar sprinklings and taste too. And also you can just leave them just like this. You don't even have to sugar them at all if you don't want to. So I'm gonna continue to make our Mom Wool miraculous little Middle Eastern cookies, and then we're gonna get them in the oven. Our Mom Wool miraculous little Middle Eastern cookies have baked up beautifully, as you can see. And they have that beautiful design that we created with our Mom Wool molds earlier. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna sprinkle them with our sugar, our granulated sugar, and our powdered sugar. And it's always nice to get them with the sugar as they come out of the oven so that it really kind of absorbs into the cookie and that it sticks and adheres to it too. It's a little tip and trick. Okay, so now I'm just gonna get our powdered sugar and just do a light dusting right over our walnut Mom Wool. Ooh, that one was a little bit more than light. Isn't that beautiful? That's why I like to say they look like little snowflakes. Snowflakes in the sky. So look at our beautiful, miraculous little Middle Eastern Mom Wool cookies with our walnut and date. And remember that you can actually blend the two mixtures together and create your own special mix to fill in your Mom Wool molds. And we also have, don't forget about our Riz Bi Halib, our rice pudding. And you can see that it's set so nicely. I had it chilling in the fridge and it's really come together so beautifully. And now I'm just gonna dust it with a little bit of crushed pistachio nuts and a little bit of powder too. I just like having that little bit of that crunch with the pistachio nuts right on top. And I love that they're in these little beautiful glasses too. Makes it extra special, I think. I love the idea of everybody having their own little dessert like this. It's so creamy. The vanilla is absolutely aromatic and just so delicious. It's like velvet. It's just rich and creamy, and I love that little pistachio crunch right on top. It And now I'm gonna go for one of my mamul cookies, and you know which one I'm gonna go for. My date, of course, because I love the date ones. Actually, I just wanna kind of squeeze it open so you guys can see that. Look at that, isn't that amazing? So beautiful. Okay. Delicious. And the date filling is so delicious, and it has that sort of like cherry aromatic flavor too from our mahleb spice. They all just taste like a little bit of holidays right in a bite. I hope you've all enjoyed sweet making with me today, and until we sweet make again or cook again, I wish you and yours to always take global Hana. Eat in happiness.
Cooking with Julie Taboulie is made possible by our members and by viewers like you. Thank you.